Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello everybody and welcome back to How to Paint Watercolours with me, Colin. And I've chose a winter scene for this one, I hope you don't mind. And it's one of those Wonderland scenes, so I'm just setting off with some nickel yellow in the centre, followed by a little touch of Indian yellow. I just want to drop some quinacridone gold around the sides. We will be putting some misty trees in, but this is far too wet to put them in at this stage, so we'll have to wait. This is Indian yellow and Indian red. Just want to check, and I just want to drop some what will eventually be bushes, but I don't mind this spreading because this is the background. I don't want them too strong. And I've got the board laying flat. Drying the brush off, creating some light patches in it just by removing some of the paint off the brush and the water. And you see how that's leaving light patches without you really doing much. And I'm just removing the excess paint. Put a few of the bushes in here. Using the tip of the brush just to create the illusion that there's a lot of stuff there. And with a thicker mixture of that colour, Indian red and Indian yellow, we'll just see how this looks just in an area where it doesn't really matter. And we can put some trees in the background. And I'm starting with the most paint on the brush in the outside areas, so that as I move in, the brush will run out of paint and you end up with fainter trees in the background. Coming back in with a quinacridone gold, just on the tip of a mop brush, just dropping hints of it here and there. A stronger version of the Indian red and Indian yellow. You can come back in and add an extra layer of bushes. You have to wait until the paper has started to soak up the paint that you have already applied, otherwise you will end up in some severe trouble. And trust me, it still happens to me. Leave enough gap in between the paint so you can allow it to spread without it joining up. And taking some of that same colour, as this is slightly stronger, we can make the trees slightly thicker. Give your trees a little wiggle and shape. They don't all grow like telegraph poles. The odd branch. I'm going to move on to a version of Indian red and French ultramarine. And once again with the tip of the brush, just break it open a little bit. Just put a slightly stronger set in here. Bringing it forward once again. Taking the rigger brush. You have to remember that the paper is drying all the time. Making sure the brush isn't too wet. Bringing this line of trees in forward. and then we're going to let that dry. Okay, your background's reasonably dry. I'm just going to re-wet the background where the snow's going to go, and we'll get rid of the white paper. So I'm just going to take some Seaver's Blue and French Ultramarine. Like to come back to my trees, and with a stronger colour of the Indian Red and French Ultramarine, I think we can put some more tree trunks in. Just giving a little character to some of these. Swooping out here, I think. Just watering it down a bit. A little extra in. Perhaps a stronger mixture. I do want to drop some French Ultramarine and burnt umber into this. Just to really pull it forward. We will be adding more branches and things. Just drop it up one side of the tree and allow it to drift. Just pulling it into the snow and allowing it just to fuse a little bit. Take a damp brush, just bring it together. Attaching it all to the ground. And then we're going to let that dry. Okay, I've turned the board upside down now that that's dry. I'm going to take some of the French Ultramarine and burnt umber, and I'm just going to water it down slightly, just adding it into there with some water, taking a rigger brush once again, and we can just begin to really pull some long thin branches out. Just turn it over, just turn it round and just check it. Remembering we need some bushes down here as well. Put some of this embankment in. So I'm just going to drop some water in just around where the dirt is going to be. I'm just going to use some of the Indian red and French ultramarine to start. Some French ultramarine and burnt umber. Just dropping that in. Some along here, just wetting it. Once again, Indian red and French ultramarine. French ultramarine and burnt umber. Just dropping it in and pulling it backwards. Just creating dark and light places. Before I can scrape these out, it's going to have to dry a little bit. So again, just softening the tops off. Just pulling some of it into the snow. Okay, we'll give it about 5 minutes. We'll just see if this works. I'm just going to take my palette painting knife and just in some of the areas I'm just going to see if some of this paint will leave. I just want to leave marks in the paint, that's basically all. And then I'm going to let that dry. Now that that's dry, I just want to put this bridge in. I'm taking some of the Indian red and French ultramarine and I'm going to put the bottom part in, leaving the snow showing there. And I'm going to take some of the French ultramarine and burnt umber and I'm going to drop a dark line in along the bottom. We'll put a second rail in and add some water along the shoreline. A little bit here as well. And taking some of the Seaver's blue and French ultramarine, just drop this along the edge. Broken line. Then just pull a little bit of it back, just creating a snowy shoreline. It's a little bit much, never mind, spread that out. Same with this, just pull it back. Then I just want to add some French ultramarine and burnt umber to that, just along the shoreline area, and just allow it to hit the snow line and just drift upwards into it. Pulling a little bit back off the shore. Hope you can see that. And taking some of the French ultramarine and Indian red. 2 people in, a man and a child. Very simply done. A little bit of French ultramarine and burnt umber just to change it up. Bring them down towards the snow. Father and son. And with just a little bit of water, I'm just going to pull a shadow down. Okay, Okay, everything's nice and really dry, and I've just re-wet the whole of the river area, this flowing river, and we're going to put the river in now. It's basically all the sky colours really. This is the nickel yellow, and then we're going to drop in some of the Indian yellow, and Indian red. And I do want some of the blue in it, but not too much. Bring these together a bit. I'm going to take some of the Indian red and French ultramarine to really deepen it. French ultramarine and burnt umber, just adding a little bit more blue to it, just for some really deep shadows. Deeper and darker into these corners. French ultramarine and burnt umber. I just want to drop a little reflection of where the bridge is. That one's in the wrong place. See, sometimes I get carried away. Take that one out. Down the middle. I just want to take a light patch out with a stiff brush. I always get bits of things sticking out of the grass because of the snow, so we'll put a few of them in. Just dropping a bit more dark in here. And just ultramarine and burnt umber. And once again, we're going to leave that to dry. Okay, I just want to put some snow highlights on this now, so I'm going to take some Seaver's blue straight from the tube. Just begin to drop some in on these rocks. I'm just going to take a little bit of white as we come into the tree area, just to lighten it up a bit. Painting has to be really dry for this, and I mean like it's been left in the desert for a month. And I find that the Mission Gold White is the best one of them all to do this with. I'm going to take my filbert brush, or you can use a tree and texture brush for this, and I'm just going to break it open, and I want to drop some bushes in here. Just mixing it from lighter to darker. Some white tips on. And of course you can get carried away with this. I'll move that into the darker blue here. Just a few branches. Touching him to the ground. I'm just using any brown will do it. This is, I don't know, this could be burnt sienna, burnt umber. Then with a craft blade, some movement into the water. Once everything is dried, making sure we've got things straight. These always work well in the darker areas. And taking some French ultramarine again, and burnt umber. Just 1 or 2 reeds and grasses in the water. I think that's all I want to do to that. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe. Clicking the like button helps with YouTube's algorithm. I'll leave a link in the description box to the other YouTube videos I've made. Now you get around to one of the best bits. This is where you get to sign it, put a mount around it and frame it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider subscribing. Subscribing is free, and if you feel like you want to share this video, you can share this video. So once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you.